Yo, it's Coach Chris coming to you live. NC Giants, Chrome, rocking with Grandosiá TV.
What's going on, Grandosiá TV? We back again for another episode. We with my main man, Chris. He is the defensive coordinator for the NC Giants here in Charlotte. Today we're going to be talking about Little League sports. And if you've been paying attention all the way back to the days of Deion Sanders, some other great athletes that played sports, uh, you will know Little League sports is a lot that come with that. It's a lot that come with either on the gambling side, parent side, people get mad at these games. It's just a lot. Parents get mad because coaches may not play their child. You know, there's a lot of things that go with it. So we're gonna get the inside scoop from my man Coach Chris on what he think that can be better, what's not going to change, what do kids need to do, what do parents need to expect when they come out to these teams that not just, little league teams are not the Pop Warner weight class no more. These are teams now that are stacked. Most of them probably can beat your middle school teams now. So that's what we're going to get into today. So with that being said, Coach Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, man. A little tired, but nothing small thing to a giant.
There you go. So with all in the intro, man, you coach for one of the premier squads here in the Carolinas.
Oh yeah.
You go to Florida every year, you compete.
Oh yeah.
I think this year y'all was in the championship game.
Maybe.
So you got away to the big game.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing to you is when it comes to, I'll say it this way, what got you into coaching or what got you into the game itself? So you want to be a part of either the Giants or just the Pop Warner League in general?
Yeah, I mean, most people say, they missed the game from whether it was high school, college, and whatnot. Man, after I graduated high school, man, I pretty much moved up to Charlotte and wasn't doing much, with my off time, working, 9 to 5. During my off time, I pretty much, didn't have much to do besides video games. So I was always the type that wanted to be constructive, wanted to be one of the guys to give back to the community. Went out to one of the parks one Saturday, one weekend, and decided to catch a little youth football, man. And I thought to myself, I'm like, yo, these some talented kids, and I don't know if you realize like the size difference from when you and I was probably in high school
right.
is a big deal now, and kids are just growing drastically. So, it amazed me at that point. I'm thinking, if I could coach these kids, that'll be something that could occupy my time,
Right.
and at the same time give back and teach these young guys, not only football, the game of football, but life lessons in general. So I was always, on my P's and Q's when it came to the young, like my nephews and everything. So I say that since that day, man, I always wanted to coach. So, I ended up, think like a couple weeks later, talked to my sister who's dating a former coach.
Okay.
And he was out of it for about maybe 2 years. And he pretty much reached out to me and was like, hey, there's an opportunity, we got a opportunity for you if you say you want to coach like 6-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? This is probably a good start right here. So step my foot in the door, man, and that first time I was around the kids, and at that age, really nervous, you don't know what to do.
Right.
But at that point, I knew I wanted to coach, and from that day, I stuck with it. Been coaching for about 7-8 years now.
Now, was your kids one of the ones you was coaching first, or was you just coaching other kids then and moved into, well, okay, I got boys now, I'm gonna coach my boys?
No, my son actually started. I started coaching with my son at that age. He started at 4. You know, a lot. I think the age starts. You know, you can't play until you're 5 years old. But you know, he started tackle at 4, and from that point, I started coaching the 6 year olds, the 6 and under.
Gotcha.
So
All right, so I meet a lot of parents that move into the area. They always ask me, man, what's the perfect time to get my child going? I had some high school coaches tell me, oh man, don't let them play tackle until they middle school age. Uh, you've been a coach that's been coaching them since they was 6. Now you got
hmm
a team now that's 12, 13 years old you coaching with. So what is your advice to parents, young parents that trying to get their kids involved in the sport of football?
right. First of all, yeah, I learned what I didn't know at the time, and I learned was that as a coach, you know, as a man in general, you teach toughness to your kids. That's one thing. But as a coach, you know, I'm gonna say you overlook the age, but sometimes as a father, people feel like, hey, my son is tough enough. My son may even feel like he's ready to play, at this level. But as a parent, uh, what I've learned was that, you know, the appropriate time for your kid to develop in all, with his motor skills and everything is probably about 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't recommend letting them play tackle at 5 because of the contact.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, flag football, 3, 4, 5 years old. That's a perfect age as a parent, and obviously, with all the concussion protocols and everything, you want to keep them safe and get them ready for that. So I would say about 6 or 7, they should be ready for tackle.
All right, now here's the questions that we got to get into right here. When playing with a premier football team
Mm,
like the Giants and some other
mm,
ones, RBE that's down in South Carolina,
mm,
some other these big Giants that may show up on the national scene in Florida. I'm a first year parent with
mm-hmm.
my, first time bringing my kid out, for example, and he ain't never played before. What am I to expect on these top tier teams? Like, what are we expecting? Because if you're competing every year for a national championship, I mean, you got to be some expectations out there. So, what we expecting out here?
Now that's pretty much the what they call the nitty gritty side, the bad, the tough side of youth football. A lot of people, a lot of parents don't agree with most of the time. But you got a kid you know that's in the process of developing and trying to compete at the level that the other kids are on. Your safest bet is to have your kid in like participating in a spring league.
Okay.
Spring season is pretty much we developing kids. We pretty much teach them how to play the game. So by the time fall comes around, they have a little bit more experience under the belt.
So you telling me, for the ones who don't know, it's 2 seasons into one. So it's best for me to get that spring up. I miss spring. It may be some learning curve left behind type situation. Is that what you're
It's
saying?
it's it's definitely it's definitely that because if you compare it to, let's say, college football. You got kids that come in from a high school level. Some are redshirted. Some are redshirted. That being compared to the kids that are in the developmental stages. That's their redshirted season, which would be that spring season. So you know you sticking a kid in. In an experienced league, it's pretty much it's gonna drain them mentally.
Right.
It's gonna shy them away from that sport in particular, and you really don't want to do that.
So how much during a regular season um, development go on in the fall season, or is it one of those things we hitting the pavement and we run it by the time we get to fall? So is there any development at all, or is just hey, you got to just get in where you fit in?
It's definitely me personally. It's definitely both spring and fall is are equally important as far as developing kids. Spring you have that much more time because a lot of the experienced kids are not there, so to speak, and that gives you enough opportunity to focus in on the ones who need that development, as opposed to a fall season. As a coach, we're expecting you know the kids to at least keep up just per se. Um, but yeah, both spring and fall are developing seasons, for all the kids.
All right, now we're gonna transition to another hot topic that you hear all the time on these gridiron Facebook pages and stuff like that. What is some of the, I guess you would say, the ugly of youth football? If you can remove it, you will remove from the game, because I'm always hearing some rough stories out here at these games.
Man, if I could pinpoint one thing, it'd be a long list. But to be honest, um, you know, it's not the game itself. They say you get that saying, it's not the don't hate the player, don't hate the game. It's the parents and the coaches. We are the problems.
Yeah, okay.
We are the solutions at the same time. You know what I mean? So, you get situations where parents want to be more involved. Oh, my son can do this, that, and this is the position I want him to play. He's the best in the city. He does this, he does that. But in reality, your kid is a kid. He's only going to perform at the level he is going to perform on, if that makes sense. And then at the same time, you got the coaches who, they'll take that same kid and say, all right, this is what I'm going to run with. This is what I know. This is the kid who's going to do this, that, and the third for me. I can trust him.
Okay.
Well, you don't know that little Johnny back here has been playing on a different team. He may be new to your team,
Right.
but little Johnny can do just as much as your kid can, and maybe even better.
Right.
So at that point, parents, go kind of back and forth, and that's when you get all the, he say, she say, and my kid's better than yours, and all the different kind of commotion you get, especially with social media, man. And it's been getting out of hand. It's then gotten to a peak, and then started to hit the pivot point, but it's just out of control now.
In your mind, is there any way to really hone in that problem? Is there any way to really fix it, or is it one of those like it's gonna come to a head one day? We're gonna just sit back and all have to just look at things like
I would love to say that it would one day. I would hope that it would one day, but man, it's so tough to piece a problem and address it in any organization. Now, you can get one side might agree certain things, another side might agree to another, but at the end of the day, I don't feel that there's a common ground, you know what I mean? That will say, all right, this is how we're gonna run it, and this is how it should be, and this is how we'll run it from here on out. It's always gonna happen. You look at Friday Night Tykes, you look at different areas of the country that's doing the youth football, man, and it's all the same. It's all the same. It's kind of cliche because look where we are with the world as we speak in general. It's like, where do we go from here? It's possible, but can we get everybody on that same page? Who knows?
Who knows? Now, I will say this. I was talking to some coaches the other day. I know some of the issues they have, and it's not coming to you because I know you say you coaching kids. I have seen you coach before, so I know it's not coming for somebody like yourself. But some coaches I talk to around, the biggest thing they say they wish that could be different is coaches coaching their kids. And I know that's hard to do that when you're a coach, but they say that, man, I wish it was a rule where coaches could not coach their kids. What do you feel about that?
That goes hand in hand with the common ground issue, man. It starts at home. It definitely starts at home. Coaches are who they are, man. You got coaches that's in it for the kids, solely for the kids, and don't care nothing but for the kids. You got coaches that care about just winning championships, just competing and having a big name, having trophies, belts. You got coaches that do both. Like it's really those coaches that actually are there for the kids and willing to build them, train them, you know, inside, you know, the game, out of the, you know, at home, it don't matter. Like those coaches are hard to find.
Right.
Those coaches, and as I speak, like most of those coaches then gave up on youth football. You know, it'll tell you. You know, you see some coaches sitting there. I used to coach football. You know, and you'll see those coaches saying that, but uh, it really, you know, you can't distinguish between which coach is which until you associate, you know, the kid with that coach. So,
Right.
you know, it's hard finding a coach that can really develop a kid and really, you know, coach a kid.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I watch what y'all do all the time, man. When it comes to coaching these kids, bringing kids from one thing about part water football or the little league football, you got kids from all over.
Yes, sir.
Kids with rides, kids with no rides, kids with food, kids with no food, kids with manners, kids with no manners. You know, so it's one of those things, man. I give y'all credit. Y'all pick up kids. Y'all take these kids in. So it's a hard thing, but it's just I don't know. I just some parents, man, they don't really see the whole 9 yards y'all do. So all they see is I done drove 2 hours while my son ain't playing.
That's it.
I done drove down to Florida. I done spent all this money. Why can't my son at least get 5 minutes in the game? I mean, what do you say to that?
Man, we dedicate so much to youth football, man. Like, you know, nobody that I knew as a kid goes out of the way, you know, after they worked a 9-10 hour job, you know, come to a field at 6-7 o'clock at night and stay for 2 extra hours when their kids are at home, you know, or their wife is at home, you know, without them, you know, at that point, missing that quality time with them, man. And, you know, for a parent to actually, you know, see that and say, you know, whether it is taking their kid and you know, being you know, pretty much outright disrespectful to the coach, man, is ridiculous. I never seen anything like it
Right.
until I came to youth football. Now I've seen some things at high school where a parent come, but nothing like youth football. Nothing like youth football. But you know, to your point, man, you know, parents gotta realize that they gotta be accountable at the end of the day. We hold the kids accountable. They hold us accountable.
True.
We're one of the first ones to get critiqued, criticized, you know, called names from the bench, want to speak to them right after a loss.
Right.
You know, as a coach that's been there, dedicated his time, and your kid hadn't been there all week to practice and show up to play, how does the coach feel, you know? That's the most disrespectful thing a parent could ever do. And they gotta be more accountable.
Now, with kids that may not got much playing time previous years, what is your advice to their parents? What would you tell their parents to do to get them ready for the following season?
Definitely, man. You know, you want to encourage those parents and those kids because that may or may not be the team for that kid that year. You know, or I would say, hey, be patient. You know. Because at the end of the day, if your kid is with the right coach, only time will reveal itself and show you, you know, within about 1 or 2 years, you know, that a lot of parents are not patient. Let's sit this right here.
That's fine.
A lot of parents are not patient, man. You know, I see it year in and year out, but some parents stick. The parents that stick, you know, eventually their kid gets on the field. You know, especially if they're around the right coaches, they get some. They you can tell a difference in the kid from 6 months to a year that they're developing, and that's our goal as coaches is to get them to that point.
Gotcha. So that's good stuff right there. Now, I will say this: 2020 has come and gone. You had a season.
Is it?
Well, some issues, right? That's true. 21 looked just like 20.
Yeah,
he looked the same.
Similar, so much similar. I thought I was still 2020. You hear me? But yeah.
So how do you navigate, or how did y'all navigate through 2020 and with 2024 or 2021? How are you navigating now, dealing with the COVID, dealing with things that have happened?
Yeah, the COVID situation, when the COVID situation hit, man, it pretty much put a lot of people in jeopardy. A lot of people didn't know what to do. A lot of kids sat out during the sports. The way that we approached, football was that, most people are gonna protect themselves. No question about it. No question about it. Their safety is the first. The way we approached everything is that we wanted to abide by every policy there was with COVID, the following distance, the mandated masks and your social distancing and everything, and we wanted to really enforce that, and that's what we pretty much did with the kids. We would have you know information sent out to the parents where we would let them know, hey, your kid needs a mask. We're gonna order certain types of PPE for the kids. So, um, and it was pretty much set in stone. A lot of parents understood, hey, if my kid wanted to play, this is what I have to do. Now, for the parents that didn't agree with it, they didn't, pretty much bring their kid or have their kid playing. So most of us, we followed every guideline there were as far as playing and practicing during COVID. We staggered that in. We lost maybe a few days, but we found a way to get around that situation.
Now, with y'all being in the Carolinas, I do want to I witness and understand that most of your games in North Carolina you couldn't have at a regular
hmm
field. So how did y'all
hmm
navigate that whole situation?
Yeah. Again, there were very few places like rec parks and things, different areas that actually wasn't restricted as far as COVID. But yet they shut down kind of early, and for those days that we had those fields, we practiced during that time. There were times where we had to alternate, different fields and switch. One week we might have practice here. One week we might have a practice at a different location. So it really depended on when they were opening and when they were having restrictions during the time frame. So you did mention out of state and whatnot. Out of state, different states had different guidelines as far as COVID. So
Okay.
the states that we would travel outside to, most of them were not as far as restricted. It wasn't restricted at all. So we would play games on fields that were actually open. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So getting ready for the 2021 season.
hmm
I guess spring will be here within a month.
hmm hmm
What are some of the? I mean, we do have a vaccine now. We are moving, I guess, a step closer to getting better. So, what are some of the rules that you know of that's going to take place for 2021? Is it y'all still going to follow the same thing, or is it going to be some different agendas for
Yeah.
parents?
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna follow the same restrictions, the same guidelines that we had the past fall season. Nothing's gonna change until the governor itself just lift those restrictions. So, we're approaching the season the same as if we would any other season. Uh, definitely. Changing the scenery, I suppose. Back then they had, you had all type of teams within Charlotte itself.
Right.
A lot of teams are now combining their teams now. So, a little merger would bring in more kids, I suppose, and kind of have more kids rather than those split teams within the city.
Gotcha.
So
So with 2021 on its way, um, what are y'all doing different this year to go to make sure when you go back to Florida in the fall, you bring home the belt? What's going on different?
Well, not sure if you've been checking the rankings and all the news with the competitive teams, but um, the NC Giants Chrome, who I coach with, they're one of the top 25 teams in the nation,
Okay.
top 11 U in the nation.
Okay.
Um, our brother Delta was within the top 10. So with those two teams being, you know, one of the top two teams in North Carolina, the ultimate goal is to combine those teams, and most definitely the ultimate goal is to bring that championship, that national championship, back here to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, cool.
So, that's the ultimate goal. We have coaches that are experienced. We have, the players who've been there to that on that stage, and you know, with the support that we have as well, um, we feel like this is the year we're going to bring that back at the 12U level.
Okay, cool. That's cool. Hey, that sounds good to me. I do hope y'all go down there and do it, because anything that's representing Carolina, I'm all for it. But if a parent move in to the Charlotte area, via Gastonia, Belmont, Mount Holly, whatever, who can get to Charlotte, what is something that set apart the NC Giants? Or what is something that set apart your organization that you coach for? And two, another part of that question is, with inside coach Chris, what kind of coach are they getting?
Oh man. Well, first and foremost, the NC Giants past 3 or 4 years, Coach and President Day, he pretty much started it, 4 years ago, and from where he started it and where to what it has grown, has been tremendous. To be honest, man, you honestly, you got to look at it like, hey, this has become a family. You know what I mean? It's a nice family, organization, family oriented. I've been coaching for about 7, 8 years. I haven't seen the type of, support that the NC Giants get before. And this is one of those organizations where you're like, all right, you don't have this type of negative here. You don't have, a lot of lack of players here or there. Everything is put in place to where, this is like, you know, a no-brainer, you know what I mean, as far as, developing your kid, putting them in a situation where they're playing competitive football, loving the game while they're playing it, learning life lessons. And on that point, what players and kids are getting out of me is I'm gonna be 110% honest, man. I'm gonna let your kid be the best kid he can possibly be, whether it's home, whether it's on the football field, I'm going to let him know that, hey, this is why you're here, and this is what, this is what you could be, and you're going to get 110% out of me. You're going to get the development. You're going to get the life lessons. You're going to get that talk. You're going to get that tough talk out of me, and you're going to get the best possible 11 or 12-year-old that you're going to get as a parent. Mm-hmm.
Now, before I let you go, I know with your years of coaching, what are some war stories that we have to tell the viewers? What's something that didn't happen?
War stories.
What's something that didn't happen? You're like, man, I can't believe that just happened.
Oh my God, man. So many, listen. You've heard from different situations where a parent wanted to fight on the field. It's harmless when you sit back and think about it. It's like it was innocent, but it's the moms, the team moms is the freaking problem, man. I'm telling you, it's team mom come from the stands. Matter of fact, they right here on the sideline. They right here on the sideline, yelling and flipping out. You got a kid some kid grabbed your kid by the face mask after a play. Parent runs on the field. I know she didn't grab my son. I had I hate to throw her under the bus, but my wife, man, she one of the loudest. I'm sorry, babe. The loudest, but she gonna go to war for her baby. You hear me? She gonna go to war for her baby. So I'm not sure. My son, he ran the ball or something, and I guess the kid ended up doing a little dirty play after the play. So I guess after the next play, he went and you know, during the play, he went and hit him, you know, and I guess his mom was on the sideline. She didn't like that, so she runs on the field or to the sideline and yells at my son, and so he say, right?
Right.
And that set everything off. My wife runs on the field. You're not gonna touch nothing. You're not gonna touch my man. What he say? What he say? What he say? What she say? I say, man, listen. I've seen a lot of different stuff, man. Right. From you know, people want to pull out guns and all type of nonsense, man. And this, you know, that's the part where everybody's like, yo, where's youth football going to? You know, not too long ago we seen the coach who just grabbed this kid up as if he was his kid. Oh, yeah. And I was thinking that was his kid, but even if it was, you don't do that to a kid in public like that. And he, you know, he got banned from youth football. We can't have that, bro. We can't have that, man. And it's done gotten out of hand, man. We gotta be parents. We gotta be adults. Well, I think we done lost. It's a lack of adults out here in this youth football world now. Yes. It's senseless now, you know. People fighting over youth football games. People betting over youth football games. Hey, there's no room for that, man. It's got to be a line somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But it starts at the top. It starts with the league owners. You know what I mean? It starts with them, and it also starts at home. And the coaches, I believe that if that happens, the coaches will follow. They have no choice. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I believe that as an adult, you should be accountable for your actions, and you should be there for the kid. Because if there's no kids to play the game, what are you there for? You know what I mean? And that's just the way I feel about youth football in general.
What's up? Well, Coach Chris, man, we appreciate you stopping by Grandosiá TV. All my listeners and followers, make sure you follow, subscribe, hit the like button, comment. Please share the video to as many people as you can, because I would love for more people to keep youth football going. Because one thing we cannot do, especially in the community of African Americans, is lose a sport like football because of the discipline that they do give our kids. So once again, just make sure you subscribe, like, comment to everything we're doing. Before we let you out of here, Coach, one more thing. Where can they find you if anybody want to reach information? Can we find you on social media anywhere?
Definitely, man. Chris Liles on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. The Senior Liles. That's all lowercase. Shout out to Grandosiá TV, man. We out.